So don't get me wrong, I am fully aware that the main reason most of you clicked on this video and are watching is because I am going to be talking about the Fuji X-E5, as well as every other YouTuber out there in the world, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I picked it up, the things that I like about it, and the things that actually surprised me that make me not love this camera as much as I thought I would, which pains me to say because I really, really wanted to love this camera. And maybe it's just going to take a little bit of time to get to there. But before I get into all of that, let's talk about the Fuji X-E5. Everyone that's talking about picking up this camera is talking about the beautiful build quality, the everyday carry aspect of it, the simulations dial, how small it is. That is all obvious when it comes to a camera like this. The thing I want to talk about is why did I get it and how does it fit into my lineup of cameras and why might you want to get something like this as well? And of course, you are probably noticing that I have a few different modifications and accessories kitted out on my X-E5, and I'm going to be talking about those as well. The first thing is why did I pick this up and what space is it holding in my camera collection, right? This camera I got because it is a perfect fit to be an everyday carry, but also to fill some spots in my professional camera lineup, particularly when it comes to like podcast recording or content like this, or creating the Daydream Diaries videos that I'm going to be making more lifestyle-oriented content moving forward. More on that at the end of the video if you're interested. Keep on watching through. So I wanted something that was small, that was pretty, and that was inspiring to use. And ultimately, that is why I got this camera, why someone wants this camera, why you should get it if that's something that you need or want. Or honestly have the money to splurge on, because it's about $2,000 for the body and the lens, which is, as people are saying, way more expensive than the X-E4 that came out years ago. So it's definitely a little bit of a jump up in price. But I think that it's worth it because when I saw the launch video last summer, I was really impressed and really inspired to get this camera because I've never been a camera YouTuber. I've never done gear reviews or anything like that, but I watch them a lot. And there's been no camera release recently that's gotten me excited about using it or picking up a new camera. I have the Sony A7 IV. I have two of them I use for my professional work. And it is, in my opinion, one of the best cameras out there with the oversampled, I think it's like 5.6 or something like that, sensor, its low light performance, its video capabilities, its photo capabilities. Like it is a god tier camera in my opinion. So that's why I have two of them, especially being a hybrid shooter that does photo and video. But they're not that inspiring to use. I use them for work. So I wanted to get a camera that I could take around with me day to day, be an everyday carry, and ultimately be an extension of my outfit, be an extension of what I reach for in the morning when it comes to putting on my shoes, grabbing my bag, putting my camera on, and my jacket, depending upon the time of year. So ultimately, that's what this camera is doing, is it is an everyday carry lifestyle camera, but that has some of the specs that are able to make its way into my professional workflow as well. But some of those things are not what I expected them to be quality-wise from Fuji and from being a brand new camera, and I'll get to that in a second. What I want to do now is talk about the things that I love about this camera, and I'll keep it short here because I'm just going to be repeating what everyone else has been saying. But the biggest things I love about the camera is just the beauty of its design. Particularly, I really like the back and how minimalist it is. It kind of reminds me, the back and the top remind me of the Leica Q series, which I've been dreaming of getting a Leica Q2 or a Leica Q3 40 particularly for years, but it's just not quite in the budget. And this having the same sort of place it would be holding in my repertoire of cameras made much more sense to finally get and purchase for my kit. So it's got the beauty. I love the dial here for shutter. I wish there was, instead of this being exposure compensation on the top, I almost kind of wish it was ISO or programmable to be something else, and it might be. But ultimately, I love just how sleek and minimal the entire design is of this camera. The aluminum top plate, the premium build quality of it, which doesn't quite extend into the lens in my opinion, but it's good for being a pancake lens that comes with the camera. I'm happy with that. I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but I've got a few different like accessories and mods on here that I've put that I'm going to break down in a second. But now I want to talk about some of the things that I don't like about the camera, which is namely the image quality, which you're not going to hear many people talking about. So maybe I got a bad copy, but the image quality, particularly in video. Now, again, I use the Sony A7 IVs. They're an overbuilt camera. I love that camera and the quality it gets me for my professional work. And then when I started to introduce this into my professional workflow, just as like some pickup shots, I was noticing that maybe it's because it has a higher megapixel sensor. Maybe it's because of the in-body image stabilization. Maybe it's because it's got more, I don't know, like AI or something in it. But there's something about the video that looks computational to me, particularly in the background out of focus elements, which you're not going to see here. And I don't really have a good video showing you this, but maybe I'll make a video about it in the future. But again, I'm not a gear reviewer. It's got this weird kind of wobble that doesn't look like the Canon's stabilization wobble. It looks more like, I don't know, it's super weird and unique. And again, it looks computational, and like it's like trying to stabilize the image, but not just like the whole sensor, but just like pieces of it, which I know is not true, but that's what it looked like to my eye, and it was super weird. And then when also I'm punching in on it, it's just not that sharp. So I'm curious why it's that way. I've used a few different lenses on here too, including a 35mm f2, which is significantly sharper than this, what is this, a 23mm pancake lens that came with the camera. But still, it's just not quite as sharp, definitely in video, but even in photo, it was a little soft and a little grainy to me. And again, I recognize that this is APS-C crop sensor, but I just thought I was expecting more from a new Fuji camera that has a 40 megapixel sensor. So let me know if you've experienced something similar with the X-E5, drop those comments down below, or if you have any recommendations on any settings that I could be changing. But enough about all of that. Those are just some of the things that I love and some of the things that I don't love that I was surprised about with the camera. Now let's go over to this table by the window, and I'm going to actually show you some of these mods and details and accessories that I put on the camera. So let's do that. Let me take you through some of the accessories and mods that I've made to my Fuji X-E5. First of all, let's start off at the top here. I have a shutter release button right here. So this little soft, whoop, there we go, maybe. There we go. So this little piece just goes right onto the shutter button of the camera. And now this actually, I forgot to mention this earlier, this is one of the things that I don't like about the Fuji X-E5. It has such a beautiful premium build quality to it, but the shutter button is just a little wobbly. You can see that as I'm pushing on the side. I wish that it was tighter in there and a little bit more flush. And I feel like that would make the shutter even that much more beautiful to press and to use, which is just such a tiny little detail, but in a premium build like this, something that I would maybe expect to see be a little bit stronger. The second thing that I got was a small rig thumb grip. So I picked this up to put on the top just to kind of, again, give it a little bit of that vintage film camera sort of vibe, as well as, with this being such a small camera, a place for me to put my thumb when I'm using it like this. So that just makes it so much easier to hold, which brings me to the Tilta L-bracket grip that I put on the bottom of the camera here. Now, this was pretty affordable on Amazon. I'll put the price on the screen, and I'm really impressed with the build quality of this. Now, I did have to return the first one I got and get a new one because it didn't have the screw and it was clearly used and returned. But anyway, with all that being put aside, I love this wood walnut finish. And I just think, again, it brings that vintage quality to it. Not that small cameras like this had a wood grip that I know of, but I'm particularly thinking of some medium format cameras that had like the handle grip off on the side. And so this grip is just really pretty, helps me hold the camera a little bit easier because again, it's so small and my pinky does fall off the end, but that's okay with me. And then of course, one of the most showy and flashy things about it is this square hood from, I think I got this from Hogue. Yeah. And I have a lens hood on my Sony camera that goes on my 40mm compact lens that looks like the lens hood that comes with the X100V, the X100VI, or the Leica Q series. And so I wanted to get something that just looked a little bit different. Even though this doesn't have a true optical rangefinder, it still has this little cutout right here. So if I wanted to put this on a different lens or a different camera that had an optical viewfinder, I maybe could, as long as it fit the thread mount. And then of course I have a leather camera strap from Clever Supply Co. Todd makes these down in, I think, Kentucky. And I do have a brand new referral code if you are interested in picking up any of the new gear that he is dropping or things that he's had in the catalog for a long time, such as these camera straps. Definitely go and support this small brand, Clever Supply Co. I'll leave that code down in the description if you are interested in checking it out. But anyways, that is my Fuji X-E5 setup. Let me know what you think down in the comments. What about this setup do you think you would want? Is there anything I'm missing? Let me know. And I can't wait to go and check out your comments and see what you think about this build.